Two people shot, including a Grady County deputy, by a woman who slipped out of her handcuffs, got a gun, and barricaded herself inside a law enforcement SUV for 5 hours.
It is a bizarre and breaking story we've been following since about 1 o'clock this afternoon. We now know that other victim met the woman at a casino, but then called 911 when she started acting strange.
A little more than an hour ago, that woman was finally taken into custody. Our crews have team coverage following the story from all angles. Tevis Hillis is at the hospital while Barry Mangold is still on the scene there near Bridge Creek.
And Barry kicks off our coverage tonight with the very latest. And Barry, this is still a very active investigation underway at this hour.
Yeah, Amanda Carl, deputies are still on scene here. Crime tape is up at the home behind me where this all began. And like you mentioned, this started with a homeowner calling 911 because someone at the home a woman was expressing or displaying strange behavior. We don't know the details behind it, but it followed up with deputies arriving, this woman being detained, her slipping out of the cuffs, grabbing a gun, and then shooting the deputy and a civilian. And we are still working on details for the condition of the civilian, but we know what followed was a 5-hour standoff that was all based around this vehicle you can see in the parking lot. It has a lot of signs of damage. You can see that OHP busted out the back windows, and there's a clipboard in the window because the woman was trying to cover them during this standoff, and it all sparked a massive law enforcement response that spanned for hours. Take a look at the video that we got throughout the day from here on the ground and from Bob Mills, Sky News 9. It was a large showing of tactical teams from OHP as well as agencies from surrounding counties and cities. The woman was able, ultimately surrendered herself to law enforcement, and it was the ideal ending for troopers. Take a listen to this.
The suspect was able to open the door and to exit on her own and to be taken into custody. This is the best case scenario.
And there is an ongoing investigation behind some of the larger questions. How was she able to slip out of the cuffs? Whose gun was it that she used to shoot two people before barricading herself? All of these were still under investigation, and we've reached out to Grady County for more information, but safe to say they are working through processing this scene. But that's not every angle of the story. News 9's Tevis Hillis is live at OU Health Medical Center right now with more on this. Tevis.
Well, Barry, here at OU Health, we have seen multiple agencies come through. We've seen agencies from Tuttle, Chickasha, and also Grady County. Now, I do want to report that we have gotten an update on that deputy, that was shot at. That deputy is treated and is already at home, so he gets to spend tonight with his family. Now, we're also waiting for more information about that bystander that was shot at as well. We have not been able to confirm the extent of the injuries, what the injuries were, or how they're doing right now. Officials say they will not comment at this time. I also want to talk about that woman that was inside the car for so long. They say once she got out, they were able to handcuff her and they brought her to a local hospital. So that's another question we have, is how is she doing tonight? And we're going to continue to cover this story here at OU Health. When we know more, we'll bring it to you live on air. At OU Health, Tevis Hillis, Oklahoma Zone, News 9.
Tevis, Barry, thank you. Again, just to recap for you at home, 2 shot, including a deputy.
Yeah, that deputy treated and released from the hospital. We are still waiting to learn more about the second person shot. Deputies were checking on a woman who was acting strange. She was put in handcuffs, somehow slipped out of them, then grabbed a gun and started firing. Eventually,
she made her way into a deputy's SUV where she holed up inside for hours. Now, at the end, there was this dog that had been hanging around that vehicle all day. You see it there. It hopped in, and then minutes later, she was still holding the dog. And there she goes. She is surrendering with the dog right there in her arms. Okay, at this hour, we are still waiting to get her name and to learn more about exactly what happened.
And of course, we'll be following this story as more details become available. Look for the latest tonight at 10 o'clock online and on our News 9 app.